guidance in that recent message as well, and has been reaching out to him, offering him guidance as Moses did to Pharaoh and Ramsey, if you understood and understand the important role that the Honorable Louis Farrakhan has to and toward President Barack Obama as the head of this corporation, or the head of, again, this imperialistic, authoritarian, totalitarian government right now, this fascistic government that's existing in America toward the American people. And I'll get more into that tomorrow. But now the line has been drawn in the sand. The lines have been drawn in the contracts, in the contacts. The lines are being drawn in the Middle East, in the Middle West, and war is not just outside of your door, but war now is inside of your door. What do you think the stories about the NSA, the NASA, and those with the MSA, the Mossad security agency that's been spying on the American people? And I'll really go into that and talk about how all of this is to force the hand of the United States government, to force their hand to go into this war and expand this war in the Middle East by, again, the policies of Israel, by the policies of the Jewish Institute for National Security, JINSA, the policies of the Project for the New American Century, which was to build a greater Israel off the backs of, again, a lesser Africa and lesser Arab world, lesser Pan-Africanist world, lesser Pan-Africanist Muslim world in Africa right now is what is taking place. And it's not about need as much as it is about greed. It's not all of the Israeli members of that government over there, as I've been reading about many of the refuseniks that are refusing to go into the Israeli army and go and fight and kill Palestinian men, women, and children, and to kill Muslim men, women, and children. And I'll lift some of their names up tomorrow on the show as I talk about that. But it's now come out, of course, as we remember less than a year ago, that it was Benjamin Netanyahu, and this was written, and I'll get into that article, if not today, tomorrow, which they gave President Obama 13 things that he needed to do if he wanted their support. And one of them, of course, was to expand that war into Syria and know that this war will be not the beginning, but the completion of the war of all wars, of the war of Armageddon that your Bible talks about. So this is the gift that the government of Israel, this is the gift that the government of the United States of America, 1 week after the Bilderberg Convention, if I can just kind of connect some dots and reveal some plots, 1 week after the Bilderberg Convention took place on the 6th of last week, here's that number 6. 1 year after the members of the Israeli Knesset and the Mossad and Benjamin Netanyahu gave President Barack Obama 13 options of what he must do, going back to that number 13 again, that unlucky number, 13. And now, of course, almost 1 week after the story broke regarding the spying on the American people, the spying on the American people, black, brown, red, yellow, and white, the spying on the patriots in this country. And the patriots are those, in the words of, again, the great writer, his name escapes me, Mark Twain. It says the patriots are those that stand up and tell the truth in a time of universal lies and deceit. Those are the patriots right now. Black, brown, red, yellow, and white. Whether we're talking about patriots to the country or patriots to the truth, which does not need to be validated. So now, 1 week later, we see what the perhaps plot was, which to force the hand of this government into going along with this war that will spread into Syria and will engulf Russia, will engulf China, will engulf India. You're talking about the largest populations of countries right now, with China 1.6 billion, India with 1 billion, and many of the other smaller countries that are there. But know that as it will engulf Russia, know that they're the Russian provinces and former Russian provinces that are tied heavily to Russia because the enormous amount of oil that Russia receives from Syria, and Russia supplies oil to all of Europe, not some of Europe, all of Europe, if you would understand. Russian oil supplies all of Europe. So what do you think is going to happen right now? And so your sons, your fathers, your uncles, those who you love in the military, those who are in the National Guard, who are not supposed to go abroad, will now be sent abroad to expand and accelerate their numbers into that war in Syria right now. So let me go to this clip. I believe this is courtesy of ABC News, talking about President Barack Obama and this so-called red line. While you're worrying more about, again, the 7-game NBA series You're not looking at what's happening in Syria, which is about to get very, very serious. While you're looking at what's going on the NBA court, you're not looking at what's rulings are coming out of Supreme Court on affirmative action, on, again, the Voting Rights Act as it relates to blacks. And, of course, this case of George Zimmerman around Trayvon Martin. And while you're looking at, again, the 7-game series on the NBA, you're not looking at the red lines and the deadlines that are now being placed in front of the American government, in front of the Senate, in front of the Congress to force them to give up the necessary funds to arm the rebels, arm Al-Qaeda, in order to try to, again, dethrone a sovereign elected president, President Assad, in a sovereign country. Creating a no-fly zone, which is an act of war. Creating, again, sanctions, which is an act of war that's going on right now. But again, this is the gift that they're giving to fathers for Father's Day. So let me get into this clip talking about that. And then, if time permits, your president of the United States, President Barack Obama, is supposed to be visiting 3 countries in Africa. But I don't know if you've seen this news report that it's come out that the MLA, the Muslim Lawyers Association, just as those in Rome called for the arrest of Pope Benedict XVI, that there are now those in South Africa that are saying that if President Obama steps foot on the African continent, he will be arrested and charged for war crimes. I'll get into this in a minute. But not one major newspaper in the West has talked about this and reported on this story. MLA calling for, again, the arrest of Obama. South African report on the Obama drones have called for Obama's arrest and prosecution on June the 29th when he travels to South Africa. We're talking less than 2 weeks now. And this report, entitled Living Under Drones, Death, Injury, and Trauma to Civilians from U.S. Drones Practices in Pakistan. There's been 474 killings, 881 civilians, including 176 children. So using the Rome Statute, under which South Africa has the right to prosecute a war criminal on its territory. So we'll have to put this into connecting the dots as well. Let me see if I can go to this clip talking about that, and then we'll come back in and talk about the CBS News report yesterday regarding the deadline in Syria, because the plot thickens and war quickens at your door, and your sons and daughters will be asked again to go and put boots on the ground, as they already have, of course, Syria and Syrian so-called rebels, and they're not rebels, but they're traitors against their country that are working with Al-Qaeda and working with military contractors from Dynacorp to Blackwater, and their dirty wars against these economic hitmen and these international bankers 1 week after Bilderberg Conference now, accelerating this war in Syria, but it will break this American economy. Let me make that clear to some of you think you got time to go shop in the malls while they fighting in the malls and squares over there. It's going to break this American economy, and your standard of living is going to go down. Why do you think Dick Gregory's been telling you better stock up on your beans? Why do you think the Most High Elijah Muhammad said you better put you away a survival kit because of what is about to go down in this country? But I know you think you got a little more time to go and play, but you're facing the reality of what is coming down the pipe right now. And if I didn't love you, I wouldn't take time out on my show to share that with you, because very few radio shows are going to talk about this and talk like this. But let me go to this clip talking about the call for the arrest of President Barack Obama, and then we'll talk about the Syrian red line. So listen to this with an open heart, open ears, open mind, and open spirit. Otherwise, you're going to miss it, and the life you save could be yours or your loved ones. And you young people who are in the military, you young people that's getting ready to line up to go to the movie to watch some damn Superman, talking about a Man of Steel, talking about this the best damn Superman. The only Superman and one of the few Supermans and superheroes that I know in this society was Muhammad Ali, who took the stand against the Vietnam War and became a conscientious objector and lost everything only to be proven right in the history books regarding Muhammad Ali taking that kind of stand. Now, if you in the military, black, brown, red, yellow, and white, you're going to have to take that kind of stand, man. Otherwise, you're going to be dead in them sands by the time you get over there. You'll be dead in them sands fighting for your student loan, your VA loan, while they over there fighting for their homes. That's what you fighting for. You fighting for a NACA loan, a VA loan, and a student loan, a Pell Grant. They're not fighting for that over there. and this country's power will be broken. Israel's power will be broken over there. These international bankers' power will be broken. The dollar will be broken is what I'm trying to share with you. But let me go to this clip before I open up the lines, and I'll go deeper into this tomorrow. But again, while you worrying about the game and the Spurs and the Heat, somebody's getting ready to bring some heat. And some Cowboys is getting ready to send you over there to do their duties and their responsibilities in terms of waging war on a sovereign nation, no different than they sent out the Buffalo Soldiers to round up the Indians. So you still a Buffalo Negro in 2013. A Buffalo Negro, but you're going to have to become a conscientious objector and say, I'm going to beat my sword into plowshares and spears into pruning hooks, and nation will not rise up against nation. See, that's when you got a father. When you got a father that knows how to take you further, then you'll be willing to do that. But if you're just going to be something less than a father, children of the lesser God, then you're willing to go and fight and die in a war. You won't even get a bone. You come back, you on the front line when you go there, but you in the unemployment lines when you come back here. I know you saw the article front page in the USA Today. You first in the unemployment lines and first in them VA lines, and then many of them say they're going to come after you and get your guns. You the patriots, they coming after your veterans coming back home and disarming you first. So there's many plots to this. But let me get into this clip, and we'll come back in, open up the line.
We now have the MLA, the Muslim Lawyer Association out of Johannesburg, has submitted a 600-page document to the Office of National Director of Public Prosecution calling for the arrest and prosecution of President Barack Obama when he visits South Africa later this month. Now, the document calls for authorities to arrest him when he visits because they say that he has ordered drone strikes that have killed innocent civilians, warranting a formal investigation, which I believe is true. The complaint, dubbed the Obama docket, encourages South Africa to take seriously its domestic and international obligations to the act against international war crimes and criminals. So they're going after Obama. And, you know, for those of you that are like, yeah, right, I understand. And the Muslim Lawyer Association has to know the odds are small as well. But there is a possibility. Legally, they can do it. They can technically prosecute him under the Rome Statute, which gives the country authority to prosecute a war criminal on its territory. Now, if they try to put their hands on Barack Obama while he's in South Africa, there's probably going to be a gun battle, and it's probably not going to turn out good. But I can pretty much assure you that they'll clear the whole area within 10 miles of any person against him before he even lands, and then the cameras, everything else will be there, and it'll look like everything's all peachy. And he'll just show up, flex his muscles, and say, ha-ha, what are you going to do? I'm killing your people. So what? What are you going to do about it? I'm here. You're going to arrest me? Come get me. I'm standing right here in front of you. No? Not going to arrest me? Okay. Going on to my meeting. He's going to go to his meeting. He's going to come back out. He's going to climb back up on that plane. He's going to stop at the top of the stairs. He's going to turn around to everybody. He's going to wave bye. He's going to say, F you. As soon as I get home, I'm dropping a bomb on every one of you.
Welcome back. Again, that was just one clip talking about that, of course. That wasn't the official news clip, but one of the dockets talking about the Obama docket, the MLA, calling for the arrest of President Barack Obama. And now here's the clip from CBS News talking about, again, yesterday. It was as it broke 1 week after and I haven't given you that whole list of those who attended the Bilderberg Conference. Some of the most powerful people in the world, 140 of them. Men and women, from media to politics to government to banking to think tanks, getting together, plotting, of course, events, plotting, of course, conspiracies, overt and covert. And 1 week after that now, we have this story coming out regarding the issue of Syria and the line in the sand, and lines have been crossed, and American troops that you will finally hear, because we know that American troops have already been in Syria in the back door. Now they will be coming in the front door. It will create, of course, a no-fly zone, which is an act of war and an act of, again, the extension of the war or the acceleration of the war right now. But let me go to this clip courtesy
Civil war in Syria.
CBS.
The White House has just announced this evening that it will send military support to the rebels fighting to overthrow